Hi there and welcome to the next edition of Battlebrief. I'm Paul from Airsoft HQ and today we want to talk a little bit about what to expect at your first Airsoft game. Well, okay, obviously the first thing that you're going to need to do after you've done your initial research on Airsoft is decide what field that you want to go and play your first game at, or the field organizer that you want to work with. And I think in this instance it's really important that you check out the field organizer and the games and make sure that they have a strict adherence to safety rules. So having said that, what you need to decide is, does the game that you want to attend cater for new players? We find in some instances that new players go along to a game and it's extremely hardcore Milsim with very complicated rules and hardcore tactics that are being used on the field, and really on the first game out you really want to just have something that's just a little bit more low-key, just shoot the people around you and get used to the whole environment. So then obviously you need to book your game, and obviously that will depend on the game organizer. Many of the games today you can book your tickets online, you can book a hire rifle online, but sometimes it's about going to the field and just lining up on the day and taking your ticket money and doing it that way. So just check out exactly how you need to book for the day. Some fields will only take bookings online and other fields will just allow you to pitch up on the day. Okay, so let's say that you've decided on your game or you're booked for your game. Obviously then it comes down to pre-game planning, and I would suggest that what you do is you do it at least the night before. What you're going to do is you're going to make sure that all your kit is ready. Check out on the game details what they recommend that you bring along. Obviously if you're going to a night game or something like that, then a torch would probably come in handy. So make sure that all batteries are charged, batteries for radios are charged. As a newbie you may not have an awful lot of equipment, but you're still going to look at what they recommend to take to the game. They might say that you need good strong boots to go to the game, which we always recommend at an airsoft game. Make sure you've got some hydration, a little bit of spare cash if you want to buy a cold drink or some water or something to drink or eat. And just make sure that everything is organized so that you're ready to leave the next day to go to the game with everything in hand. The next thing that I would strongly suggest is that you pitch for the game nice and early. You want to get there ahead of time, get there a little bit so that you've got plenty of time to kit up, meet some of the new players, have a chat to the game organizer, find out exactly what his procedures are before the game starts and all of that type of thing. So don't pitch at the game late, especially if you're hiring rifles, because they're going to have to organize the rifles for you, show you how to use the rifles and give you a safety brief at the same time. So make sure that you get there nice and early. At some stage, obviously, before the game starts, you're going to need to register for the game. This normally involves signing an indemnity form for the game, because obviously, people can get injured on an airsoft field. We obviously do everything that we can to keep people safe. But if you're working on rough terrain and you're doing stupid things, it's quite easy to twist an ankle or sprain a wrist or something like that if you're running around foolishly. So get registered in the game, make sure the game organizer knows you're there and that you're part of the team or part of the group and knows to put you into one of the teams. The next thing you're going to have to do before you start the game is chrono your rifle. At every game we chrono the rifles to make sure that they're not shooting too strong or too hot, as they would say. Obviously this only really counts if you're not renting a rifle and you're taking your own rifle or borrowing a rifle from a friend. They're going to need to chrono the rifle and make sure that everything is within the legal limits. So get your gun chronoed, they'll lead you through that. You can ask the game organizer where do you get the gun chronoed so that you know that you're safe for that game. Now obviously if you're renting a rifle, you're going to need to go and get your rifle. You're going to need to pay for the rifle most likely, and they will show you how the rifle works. They'll kit you out, they'll give you the magazine. Just take note right there and then of the safety rules. Don't put your magazine into the gun in the safe zone. Now normally before any game there are usually two briefs. The first brief is going to be the safety brief, and obviously that is the same at every game virtually, depending on certain conditions that might be on the field. But the safety brief is all the rules that you need to adhere to in order to stay within the safety laws of that airsoft game. Once the safety brief is done, normally there'll be a game brief, and this is where the game organizer has probably designed some sort of a scenario for the day's game, and he's going to give you what the objectives of each team are. At that stage, at some point, they're going to split you into teams. Could be 2 teams, could be more, and you're going to run with your teams and have to work as a team player. The game brief tells you how the respawn rules are going to work for that game, and that could change from game to game. It's going to tell you, whatever the objectives might be, so it could be rescue hostages, or dismantle a bomb, or capture a position. Whatever it might be, the game brief is going to give you the scenario that you're going to be playing with for that day. Okay, by this stage, it sounds like you've done a lot of things, but you're probably going to be ready to go onto the field and the organizer or the marshal start the game. And really on this section, really what I want to say to you is follow the game brief, stick to the safety rules and have fun, enjoy yourself, make some friends out on the field, shoot some other people, have a good time, and really anything goes on the airsoft field. Now after the game is done and everybody comes off the field, it's probably one of my favorite times. Often many of the field owners are doing a little bit of a debrief after the game, where the marshal or the game designer will tell you exactly how he intended the game to go. You can have a little bit of a insight into how the teams performed. Maybe there's a prize giving at certain games. Many games will have a bit of a raffle afterwards, so it's always a good idea not to rush off afterwards, because this is also a great opportunity for you to make friends and get to know some of the people, have a bit of a victory chat afterwards, which is probably 50% of the fun of airsoft, is all the things that happen off the field. At our games we usually have Objective 5, which is at the local Hooters, and obviously a couple of beers go down, but it's a nice little social thing after the game that we can just get to know each other a little bit better and start building our airsoft community. So if you can, stick around, hang in for that, and get to know the people that you're playing with. Well, I hope this has given you a better insight as to what to expect at your first game. Sometimes for new players it can be a little bit intimidating arriving at a field and this horde of camouflage, kitted out, professional airsofters are coming towards you. But what I want to just say to you as well is that your gun, even if it is a high rifle, is probably shooting just as straight, just as fast and just as hard as any of their guns as well. So even youngsters on the field have become dominating forces when they're in a good position, and even if they're new players. So don't be intimidated by the people around you. They've just been in the sport longer. You'll get there one day and you'll kit yourself out just the same as them. But at this stage it's just all about having fun. If you do things slightly differently at the fields that you attend, drop us a comment down below and let us know what's different on your side, or any things that you recommend or you think we might have left out on this video. Also, maybe your first game that you attended, you felt like you did something a little bit wrong. What would that be? Let's warn some of the new guys so that we can grow the sport and take it to the next level. I want to invite you to subscribe to our YouTube channel. You can come and check us out on our website, www.airsoft.hq.co.za. It's been good seeing you guys again, and I hope this has helped for the newbies in getting you started and having some fun with airsoft.